Her private hell does not seem like a movie designed to be easily explained. And maybe that is exactly the point. Nicolas Winding Refn, the director of Drive, Only God Forgives, and The Neon Demon, returns to cinema with a film that does not want to behave like a traditional story. It feels more like a nightmare lit by neon, an experience closer to a broken dream than to a clean, organized narrative. The movie begins with a strange premise. A mysterious fog covers a futuristic metropolis and releases a deadly, elusive presence. In the middle of that world, a troubled young woman named Elle, played by Sophie Thatcher, begins searching for her father. But her journey crosses paths with Private K, an American soldier played by Charles Melton, who is going through his own physical and emotional hell while trying to rescue his daughter. That is the foundation of the story. But in Refn's hands, the plot does not seem to move like a normal movie. It fragments, it breaks apart. It becomes a series of images, obsessions, and emotions that feel as if they come from a place more unconscious than rational. And that is where the comparison to David Lynch begins to make sense. Her private hell has been described as Lynchian, not because it simply copies Lynch, but because it seems interested in the same territory. Places where reality starts to crack, characters who speak as if they are hiding another secret, hotels that feel like mental prisons, hallways that are too long, lights that are too intense, and the constant feeling that something terrible is happening beneath the surface. The movie has the kind of atmosphere that is not only seen, but almost felt. The neon is not there just to look beautiful. It seems to contaminate everything. Purple, red, and blue lights turn the spaces into something between a nightclub and hell. The fog is not only a physical threat, it feels like a state of mind, something that covers the city, but also the identity of the characters. You can almost imagine the low sound of a futuristic city breathing under that mist. Electric lights buzzing in empty corridors, slow footsteps over polished floors. That uncomfortable sensation of entering a place where logic is no longer in control. Sophie Thatcher plays Elle, a young woman trapped in a personal and almost ghostly search. Charles Melton plays Private K, the soldier moving through another storyline as he tries to find his daughter. The cast also includes Havana Rose Liu as Dominique, Kristine Froseth as Hunter, Dougray Scott as Johnny Thunders, Diego Calva as Nico, along with Shioli Kutsuna, Aoi Yamada, and Hidetoshi Nishijima. What makes this interesting is that Refn does not seem to be making just a horror movie or a science fiction movie. He seems to be building a collage about modern fear, inner narratives, and the images we consume. The movie appears to be about lost characters, but also about the way the mind organizes chaos. How it mixes images, desires, violence, memories, and fantasies until they become a kind of private hell. There is also something important behind Refn's return. This is his first feature film in almost 10 years, after The Neon Demon. During that time, he worked in television, but he had not returned to cinema with a movie of this scale, and his comeback carries a personal weight. Refn has spoken about a serious health scare in 2023, when he came close to death because of a heart problem. That experience seems to have changed his relationship with life and with cinema. That idea of personal resurrection gives the film another layer. This is not only the return of a provocative director, it is the return of someone who may be filming from the feeling of having received a second chance. The reaction at Cannes was exactly what you would expect from Nicolas Winding Refn: excitement, confusion, and division. Her Private Hell premiered out of competition on May 18, 2026, and received a very long-standing ovation, reported by some outlets as lasting 12 minutes. But the critical response has also been divided. Some praised its visual audacity, while others accused Refn of getting lost inside his own aesthetic obsessions. And in a strange way, that confirms what kind of movie this is. It is not a comfortable film. It is not made for everyone. It is designed to provoke a reaction. The Avance was released on May 18, 2026, just before its Cannes premiere, and the movie is expected to arrive in U.S. theaters on July 24, 2026, distributed by Neon. For Latin America, Mubi acquired the distribution rights, although the exact local release date should still be checked before publishing. That is why Her Private Hell is interesting. Not because it promises to be clear, but because it seems to move in the opposite direction. It is a movie about fog, disappearance, desire, violence, parenthood, and internal ghosts. But above all, it seems to be about the way each person can become trapped inside their own images. In the hands of Nicolas Winding Refn, hell is not necessarily underground. It can exist inside a futuristic city, inside a hotel filled with neon, inside an impossible search, or inside the part of the mind where we can no longer tell the difference between